Hello. Hello. I'm Ash, and I had been thinking about how there's a blog about undiagnosed autism feels, which prompted the question, what sort of things from my life are examples of experiences that now make more sense within the context of autism. And the first thing I thought of was how my oldest child was almost 2 before I realized that most parents don't immediately echo what their tiny people say. And I later learned that the word for that is immediate echolalia. Now, echolalia is something that people with ADHD also use, but when it was just me and my kid, and I wasn't in front of other people, it was a lot easier for me to not slip into that survival mechanism of trying to pass. And so I found that more often than not, I just immediately repeat what my toddler would say to me. And I would use this to communicate that I was paying attention. Sometimes this served to facilitate me understanding what this tiny person might be trying to say to me as, they learn how to talk or whatever. And even before anything was really being said, the babble even, I just repeat it. And sometimes it's stimmy. I digress. Another feel that I have that now makes better sense in the context of autism would be noticing that I can't tell when people are being sarcastic. Sometimes I learn the patterns of when certain subjects someone might make a sarcastic comment when talking about something specific. Like if I know enough about a person to determine their values, then I can determine whether or not something they might have said had been sarcastic, but it's extremely specific and also unreliable, because I would say about 90% of the time context clues are something that are really, really important. And even that, this context clues are only useful if it's a one-on-one conversation. If there's more than one conversation going on, it's just not something that I can do. And I always chalked it up to the fact that I grew up with a lot of gaslighting and emotional abuse, which made it really hard to determine whether or not I was being fucked with, which can make it hard to tell whether or not people are being serious. But this is not something that's ever, I've never gotten better at it. Not to any decent degree. It's always been something that I really struggle with, and it's something that people have singled out about me to give me a hard time for. Another thing that makes sense now in the context of autism was wondering why I'm always being and always is the wrong word to use, why I have so many experiences of thinking that I'm friends with someone, only to later just be taken advantage of and to not see it coming at all. In fact, it's kind of weird to look back on certain experiences and realize that, now that I have more experience under my belt, I can look back on certain things and realize, wow, I was really being fucked with by this group of kids or this adult or whatever, that I was totally oblivious to at the time. And not being able to read social cues accurately, and social cues being something that I've had to purposefully set out and memorize, means that I don't intuit these types of things, and so, yeah, of course, despicable people are going to notice this and take advantage of it. And then, echolalia. So, I've always been really curious and intrigued by the way people talk, because I've noticed with myself that if I encounter someone with an accent, I pick it up immediately, and there's no stopping this. And if I have been watching a lot of episodes of like Sherlock Holmes, I will start talking like a pretentious little shit, and I can't help it. It's just I've been watching a lot of Sherlock Holmes. My stimming is moving the camera. I'm sorry about that. And this is, I'm pretty sure, a form of echolalia. And so I pay attention to how people talk, and I try really hard to mimic it so I sound less like a textbook, because I'm a book nerd. So I sound more like a person. I felt like an alien for the longest time, no joke. And part of this has influenced repetitive language use. I remember in 5th grade I discovered the word yo and proceeded to use it about every 5 words, and it drove everyone absolutely up the wall, and I was mocked for it quite a bit. Now, there are a few words that I use right now repetitiously, and my husband told me that one of my favorite words right now is perseverate. And one of my favorite echolales to mitigate would be perseveration, no breathing, can't get a word edgewise when she's speaking. I don't know if that could be understood, but I said perseveration, no breathing, can't get a word edgewise when she's speaking, which is mitigated echolalia of like some band that I don't know the name of, but it basically means that I will talk about the same subject over and over and over again, and once I start to info dump, good luck having a chance to say anything, because I'm gonna go on and on and on and on and on, because I can either be precociously verbal or very quiet. Talking to people requires that I practice how I'm going to say something or get an idea across beforehand, usually lots of times. This is called scripting, and it is something that I have done for as long as I can remember. Anytime I'm alone, I start whispering to myself how to say things and how to do certain interactions that I've seen other people do. And when I was a lot younger, I was dreadful at predicting the types of social situations that I would find myself in, and in hindsight is always 20/20. Sorry, no, Megadeth lyrics. I expected life to be far more dramatic and tumultuous in the social sense than it has been. Probably because of television, yes. now that I'm older, and specifically now that I know I'm autistic, and I have this lovely new collection of words with which to better describe my own experiences, I am better able to come up with scripts that I actually end up using, and this has been like super cool. And also the thing about scripting is I practice making facial expressions, because sometimes I can do the whole facial expression thing, and other times, oh man, I look so creepy. So creepy. It's atrocious. So anyway, that is a little collection of things that I have experienced before knowing that I'm autistic, that now make much more sense now that I know I'm autistic. And yep, it's, I suppose, a verbal answer, or I didn't script for this part, so yeah, I guess I'm saying that's it. And by the way, I'm extremely awkward. Bye.